Hang on, did Digimon just take from Batman? And did Digimon rip off itself with the new series copying a past season's homework? These last few episodes of the new Digimon anime gave me serious deja vu while also setting up something really entirely new. Let's talk Beatbreak's late 20s, reviewing and unpacking those Batman influences, the connections to past seasons. Welcome back to the DigiKnow, where we celebrate and analyze Millennium era anime like Digimon, Beyblade, Medabots, Inuyasha, because everything old is new again. Thanks for subscribing last week when I made a point to ask in the video. As corny as it sounds, those calls to action do work, and it would be so great to one day have 100,000 subscribers on this one-person channel. So do me the small favor of hitting subscribe if you like Digimon Yap sessions and haven't subscribed yet. Today we are covering episodes 26 through 29 of Beatbreak, following the dramatic climax of Arc 2 in episode 24. These episodes genuinely brought some great updates to the world building. We covered 25 last week, so let's talk 26, The Taste of Guilt. Interlude Part 2 of 3. Haruomi is found collapsed outside Nirinso. Rescued by Kyo, he is reunited with Comandramon, and then runs into a weakened Elizamon. Haruomi is Beatbreak's first human with dual partners. Willis, move over, there's a new charming dual tamer in town. Turns out after Haruomi was captured at the end of episode 18, he was dragged into the Colosseum, partnered with an Elizamon who saved him. He was fighting to survive, she's been fighting to escape and avenge her first human partner, who we're told was killed. I love how consistent this Colosseum flashback is. It's exactly what we're told happened to those that Clay got his hands on, and we even see Haruomi lose a match to Raito, who we know spent some time in there when Tactics deemed him a failure. Comandramon and Elizamon don't get along at first in the present, and don't believe a human can have a single partner. I'll be honest with you, I was thinking this episode was about to take a nosedive when they announced a cook-off to determine who gets Haruomi, but when a pink curry dish triggers a traumatic memory for the boy, things get very real very fast. The curry brings Haruomi back to a mission where he and Comandramon murdered at least one adult man for Team Tactics. We are finally getting to see the sort of unspeakable horrors that were alluded to in Haruomi's first episode. This is the life he wanted to escape in 18. We also learned that their target on that mission, the person he killed, was Elizamon's human partner. In the present, the young man antagonizes Elizamon, admits to the killing of her last partner, trying to enrage her, hoping she'll kill him. Good lord, Beatbreak, this is so intense. A frustrated Tomoro, remembering the last Haruomi episode, says, quote, "You're always trying to sacrifice yourself. Your dying won't make anyone happy." Between Tomoro, Kyo, and his two new partner Digimon, Haruomi stops with his atonement / eye for an eye / this is what I deserve way of thinking and accepts the possibility of happiness. It's frankly unreal of Digimon Beatbreak to use this silly cook-off episode to show us Haruomi's horrific past, and now he owns a pink curry shop in Pandamon's neighborhood. I said this last time, but no one is forgotten in Beatbreak. We got an epic 2-episode run revolving around Pandamon back in 5 and 6, and I would have been totally okay with never seeing him again. But this tie-in, it's just perfect, it makes sense. They have to do more with Shademon and Haruko now, right? She's the biggest early days character we've yet to see return, though she is in the new end credits, so it's probably only a matter of time. In 27, Wandering Love, our final interlude episode before Arc 3 kicks off for real, Hitomi runs into Tomoro after a long time, but she's acting strange. Tomoro and the others begin showing strong affection for their Digimon. To the point of the show not forgetting anyone, here is Hitomi from episode 1, still thinking about Tomoro's dropping out in episode 8, I believe it was. A Mummymon watches Hitomi and Tomoro's seaside date, realizes, quote, "The e-pulse of love, give me more," leading him to try and extract love-based e-pulse from our cast. The humans, sort of mind-controlled, are way too lovey-dovey with their Digimon, and it freaks them out. Rina dresses up Priestimon, Tomoro's cooking eggs for Gekkomon. For me though, 2 brainwashing stories across 3 episodes isn't the greatest. 25 did one too with Petermon, thus making 26 the obvious best of the 3 intermission stories. Again, not my favorite, but I like that Beatbreak is consistently playing with, exploring the concept of partnership. Co-workers, siblings, parent and child, platonic, loving, all while using the characters it already has to try and make its points. So now 28 is where Arc 3 begins proper, in a bit of a hybrid episode that does feel Monster of the Week, but clearly gets the ball rolling on the next major storyline. In Gift, Tomoro meets a mysterious girl while visiting Asuka. Meanwhile, the Glowing Dawn head to the hospital to catch a serial killer. This episode's cold open is so very Ghost Game with JOKERMON and Harleymon. Like, there's no denying this, right? That's just Harley Quinn and the Joker. Tomoro meets that new character from the key art, Miharu Kagemori, who dresses in a nothing fancy, loose-fitting dress and brown boots. Her jade eyes instantly stand out though. She studies Gekkomon on the roof of the hospital and compliments his uniqueness with 2 exceptional quotes. Even when programs serve the same function, looking at their programming code reveals so much about their creator's spirit. Holy smokes. She says, "Your e-pulse must be beautiful." And then she goes on to say, "If the world treats Digimon as glitches, then it's the world that is glitched." It seems like our new arc will focus on a group, a philosophy that is the polar opposite of tactics, government-backed military operation where Digimon were used as tools and weapons. Instead, I suspect Miharu is involved with or leads a semi-anonymous, civilian-backed Digimon liberation movement, political revolutionaries or violent anarchists, depending on who's holding the microphone and spinning the narrative. Beatbreak has earned my trust with how well it's handled dark subject matter and complicated topics thus far, so I'm very eager to see this play out, this develop. There's a Harley Quinn fake delivery sequence in the middle of the episode that is so much like that dentist scene or the subpoena scene if you watched Batman the Animated Series. JOKERMON is responsible for an intense and clever action set piece where a truck loaded with explosive flies through the hospital tower window. With this car bomb and several others parked in the hospital, the place is gonna blow. Tomoro has Gekkomon evolve, and as an ultimate, Monarch Lizamon can now open gates into the mirror world, like we saw Murasamemon and Gigasmon do. He uses the new power to get the bombs out of there. I love rules in storytelling, man. Beatbreak has been so consistent. When Gekkomon achieved Ultimate, I hadn't thought, yes, this means he can now open portals into the mirror world. But the pre-established logic has been there along. Of course he can. A defeated JOKERMON tells our heroes, quote, "Humans have been led astray. It's our job to guide them." In the aftermath, we learned that a managing director of Tamamori Logistics, a World Union subsidiary, was found dead. His delivery company had cargo that was carrying Digimon, collected by the ministry, being sent to a World Union facility to, quote, "be disposed of as hazardous material." So I think JOKERMON was kind of the good guy. We then see people across town watching an anonymous broadcast announcing this death, saying, quote, "Digimon justice has been carried out." Strange-looking people who seem to be down on their luck, rejected by society, say things like "serves him right" and "who's next," before we're shown the source of the broadcast, a human in a cool Daft Punk-looking helmet, a total Unryuji Knight type if you watched APPMON. That human villain wore a mask and operated under the alias Cloud and was a true believer in the season's AI overlord Leviathan. So Beatbreak isn't just keen to lift from Ghost Game or Savers, as some of you reminded me when Gekkomon practically quoted Masaru's Agumon. No, Beatbreak is also interested in remixing ideas that were last seen in APPMON, a fantastic season that you should not skip. Do we believe this masked member of Daft Punk is Miharu or someone else? Let me know by leaving a comment and subscribing while you're at it if you want more Beatbreak coverage. 29. The Crimson Banquet. Ruli is invited to a party for the super high-end brand SV. Their business branding is centered around blood and the color crimson. However, something about this bothers Angoramon and the gang decides to investigate. Just joking, that is the premise of Digimon Ghost Game episode 25, an episode that has an extremely similar structure to Beatbreak 29, Dangerous Fandom. I'm not sure how I feel about them being so deeply the same without a significant change. This week, Reina, not Ruli, is sent to a woman-only meet and greet for an actor, not a brand ambassador, who turns out to be Myotismon. I wondered if this was going to be the Priestimon Ultimate Evolution episode, and thought that could be like a correction for Ghost Game 25 being a Ruli episode for 80% of its run, and then randomly being the Gamamon Ultimate debut. But no Pristimon Ultimate this week. Instead, the big thing is the inclusion of Rose, the next of the 5 stars, the evangelist of beauty. Her, Reina, and 2 other girls are selected by this Ryuki Urato actor and taken into the mirror world where he reveals he is Myotismon. Like the last few episodes, 29 includes some excellent cuts of action animation like the Pristimon battle around 1525, as well as highly detailed close-up shots of characters like Myotismon and Reina. When reunited, Reina and Wolvermon defeat Myotismon by firing off a rapid burst equipped with a silver button or coin. It reminds me of Ray putting a quarter on his Beyblade to beat that vampire Bit Beast 25 years ago back in Beyblade Series 1. A moment that lives rent-free in my mind. When the action concludes, we learn that Rose was at the meet and greet because she thought the disappearances surrounding Ryuki could have been caused by the anonymous gift person, thus tying this episode into last week's and into our new arc. 29 was not a bad episode by any means, but a bit of a head-scratcher with how extremely similar it was to a premise for the prior Digimon series. No surprise fake out, it was kind of that. again. But outside of that similarity, these episodes were extremely strong. I was pretty locked in for everything except the Hitomi Mummymon episode, and even then it had its charm. This gift arc is promising, the idea of a Digimon liberation movement that is not afraid to take lives if it means fixing a broken system. Like Miharu told Tomoro, if the world treats Digimon as glitches, then it's the world that is glitched. Super compelling. I want to know what's up with that hand on Miharu's face in the end credits. Next week, we are apparently getting Makoto's twin brother and a Lugarmon from Digimon Seekers. That is kind of a huge deal, getting that vital bracelet and webcomic mascot into the anime. Let me know what you thought about these episodes. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my light novel Monster Revolution if you want my original take on the digital monster tamer concept. If you ever wanted to support the channel besides just watching the videos, that's definitely a way to do it. You can listen to the first chapter on my second channel and grab the book if you liked what you heard. Thanks for supporting and watching. Take care. See you in the next video.